students and school heads and PETs. See, those all who have logged in the school with their individual name, kindly change it to the school name as per director office instructions. You need to display the school name. Okay, who have login names, kindly change it to the school name and display the name. You have to change that. Thank you.
Saddam, 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 respond.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Saddam. Check the list. There is IC Vivo V2351. Who's that? Hari coach have to rename to the school name. There is one VB school. Okay. Saddam, respond.
Yes, sir.
Yasha, Shankar. Ask them all to change the names to the school names as instructed by Suresh Saddam. Morning, Saddam. Check the list. There is IC Vivo V2351. Who's that? Hari coach have to rename. Can you mute the other speaker? There's one VB school. Okay. Saddam, respond.
Yes, sir.
Yasha, Chandra, ask them all to change the names to the school names as instructed by Suresh. Morning, Saddam.
Yes, sir.
Check this. There is a CEO. Can you mute the other speaker?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Good morning, all of you. I still see a few of them have still kept their device name. Kindly change Selvam Bigai Sandil Kumar. Then there is one VB school which doesn't know which branch it is. That one Vivo V2351J. So these schools kindly change to the school names. Now I will invite our guest, Mr. Sharath Kamal sir, to start the session. So before that, those who are not changing of the devices, kindly change it. Thank you. Yes. Uh, Good morning, all. Good morning, all students, principal heads, and PETs. Mr. Sharath Kamal sir has joined, and I warmly welcome on behalf of our Velamal group, director sir, and all our schools, the Indian table tennis legend and ace tennis player, Mr. Sharath Kamal sir, for our interactive session. Welcome, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Sir,
Thank you for the invitation.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Before progressing for the session, just a brief achievements of you. I'm not going to list out all the achievements because that is going to take a lot of time. The brief achievements for all our students. So, Sharath Kamal sir is a Khel Ratna awardee, the Indian highest sporting honor. So, he's the recipient of Khel Ratna award as well as Padma Shri award also, and Arjuna Award also. So he has achieved all the sports top recognitions from our Indian government. Sir has achieved all. And he also has a distinguished career, winning 4 Commonwealth goals, 2 Asian Game medals, 2 ITTF Pro 4 titles, and various other national titles. So we once again very happy to welcome you, sir, for our campus. And across all our campus in Tamil Nadu, students have joined today to interact with you and to uh, listen to your speech, sir. So, without further delay, uh, I warmly request you to start the session and share your experiences, sir, in the table tennis and your sporting field, as well as the recent Paris Olympics, where you have been our Indian flag bearer. So, those experiences, your words will kindly inspire the students to reach the better heights in future, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much, firstly, sir, for giving me this opportunity to interact with all the school kids. Actually, it's very initiative.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Very
Yeah.
sorry. Requesting all other campuses to please mute your devices. Tiruchi campus, Pallikadnai campus, mute your devices, please. Suresh sir, you can make Saddam the co-host so he can have the controls with him, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. You can please
No
proceed.
problem.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Firstly, thank you very much, and making sure that all the schools across Tamil Nadu have assembled today. I think it's a really nice initiative taken by Velamal School to make sure that all the kids are able to interact with some of the best sporting icons in the country. So for me, just talking about myself, I started the sport as a 4-year-old kid. So my father and uncle have been my coaches. So ever since I was 3 years old, I used to go to the club. And by the age of 4, my table tennis journey started. And by the age of 7 or 8, I started a strong liking to the sport. And as I grew up, when I became 12 years, 13 years, it grew into a strong passion for me. And by the age of 14, I wanted to continue my passion in a professional way. So, just going back to my school days, I think that, of course, for any kid to perform well, first we need to have family support. And I've been very lucky to have parents who were in the sporting field, so it was a little bit easier for me to continue in the sporting background. And focus on sport along with school. So back then, education was the only way to secure a career. So sports was mere, for most of them, was a mere hobby. But when I decided I want to play it professionally, it was a difficult decision that I had made back then. But thanks to my school, which had supported me in those tender years. So when I was younger, when I was in class 5, 6, 7, 8, at that period I started training, and I was doing well at the state level. I was the number one in the age categories, under 12, under 14, under 18. All these categories, I was the best in the state, but I was never able to get my footing in the national level. So to try and get into the national level, I understood that I had to put in more number of hours into table tennis. Of course, we have our school, we have the number of hours that we had to go to school, we had to do our homework, we had to study for the next days. But in that same 24 hours, I had to squeeze in some more hours of table tennis. So I had asked my father if we could start practice in the morning before going to school. My dad said, yes, let's try it. So I started training at 6 in the morning. So 6 to 7 we used to train, and I used to rush back to school at 8:10. My school was at 8:10. So the physical director, the PT teacher noticed it, and he said, okay, let me try and get permission for the prayer time, so that I can come 30 minutes later. By 8:45 I can come in, wherein I can invest my time into table tennis a little bit more. I can spend more time in table tennis playing, and at the same time, taking a little bit of rest before getting into school. Otherwise, it was just too hectic. So the physical director had spoken to the principal, and the principal directly said, yes, let's go ahead and give the support for the kid. As long as the kid is able to focus and do what he likes to do, and at the same time balance education. Because personally, for me, when you look at sports persons, you can clearly see that we are able to do decently well in our education also. That's also because sport helps us have better concentration, better commitment towards finishing the portions, and we are able to do our exams in a very let's say we prepare, but we don't have so much time to prepare. So we prepare for certain selected portions, and we are able to get a decent marks in those selected portions. So all this sport is able to help us improve in our career. That's why still till date, I still keep telling everybody that sport is a way of life. You may compete at the highest level, you might not compete at the highest level. You may take up sport as a hobby. You would like to play sports. You might do it for physical fitness. You would like to do it for mental fitness. But all of this, I would say again, is sport is a way of life where we need to have, like we go to education, like we go to school, like we go to tuitions, like we go to other classes. I think sport also has to be a part of our life, because sport teaches us a lot of attributes in life. So as a young kid, due to sport, we traveled a lot. We had a lot of exposure in terms of traveling, tournaments, and training. But through the whole process of training, tournaments, and all everything that happened, the most important aspect that we learned as sports persons is to handle success and failure, because we are facing head on with success and failures every day, day in, day out. Because every day we're trying to improve ourselves in training. We can clearly see that we are improving or we are not improving. We have to be better in certain aspects to perform well. So, and at the same time, we are constantly playing tournaments. So every second week there's a tournament, or every third week there's a tournament. So it's almost like exams. You guys have in school, we have exams. So in those tournaments, we are able to win some matches. Of course, we do lose some matches. And in fact, in the recent speech where Roger Federer had given to the graduating students, which is very, very true, is the number of tournaments, the number of matches that we win, or the number of points that we win is almost 70% more. Sorry, 30%. It's only 30% compared to the 70% of the points or the matches that we lose in a year or in our career. So we face failures more often than the success. It's just that we succeed in tournaments which are very important, which are very big, and we are able to focus on the right things at the right time. So many times when we lose, we think we are not doing the right thing. We need to change something completely, or sometimes we give up. And these are the attributes of a champion in the making. You might, again, you might not win the next tournament. You might not win the tournament after that. But in life, with that attitude of never giving up and being perseverant, you will be able to come back into a situation where you create more opportunities and you try and win the next time that you have that kind of situation. So this is something which sport is able to teach us day in and day out. And at the same time, when we win, it doesn't mean we have reached a certain destination and we are going to be at the top. Everybody wants to be at the top. Everybody is looking for the number one position. So all of us are getting to that race. So the moment we become the number one, the rest of them, all of them want to take the place of the number one. So again, for us to stay at the top, it's very, very important that we work constantly and keep constant. And at the same time, when we fail, when we lose a match or when we don't do as expectedly, let's say not just in sport, even in exams or even in life, it doesn't mean we aren't good enough, or it doesn't mean we have done something wrong. It is just the fact that we need to consistently keep doing what we're doing, and we have to try to do it better. So for that, there's a small anecdote that happened in my life. I was in my 12th standard in school, and that was my first year into the senior category. I prepared a lot. The year before that, I started to show a lot of promise. In my 11th standard already, I started to show a lot of promise in the state level tournaments. So by the time I was in the 12th standard, I expected to win the state level tournaments. And during the summer break between April and June, I practiced 3 times a day. I had my fitness sessions going. So I put in a lot of hours of training in that particular time. And we go into the first tournament of state ranking in the month of June. And I had 4 match points in that quarterfinal match. And I go on to lose that quarterfinal match after having 4 match points. So quarterfinals was a very disappointing result for me. So all evening I was very, very sad. I was not speaking at home. I didn't feel like speaking with anybody. I was just to myself. I was up on the terrace that evening, and my father came to me and he said, he just put his hand on my shoulder and said, "It's okay that you've lost today, but let's see what we can do from tomorrow onwards. So probably what we are doing is not enough. So let's try and do a little bit more." So every morning we went at 6 o'clock. So I said, from tomorrow morning, we will start going at 5:30. So let's try and put that half an hour more so that you will be able to have that confidence getting into the next tournament. And the next tournament was 2 weeks from there. So we started the next training sessions at 5:30 in the morning, started training for the next 2 weeks. And by the time the next tournament had come, I started playing well. And by the end of the tournament, I won that second state level tournament, state ranking tournament. Again, once we finished that tournament, my father came to me and asked me, "Okay, now that we've won it, we won the second tournament, what do you want to do? Do you want to go at 5:30 or do you want to go at 6 o'clock?" I said, "No, we'll go at 5:30 because that is giving me the pathway to get here. And if I want to continue to be there, I will have to go at 5:30. And if need be, I'll probably have to go at 5:15 or even 5 o'clock." And we continued that 5:30 program until the whole year. And I went on to win all the remaining tournaments, which are nearly 7 tournaments from there, and went on to become the state champion also. So that is how sport has taught me to be perseverant and to handle success and failure equally. So all that I'm going to tell you here is, just because we don't succeed, just because we fail, doesn't mean we are weaker. It is all about every time you fall down, you stand back up and try to work your way back into the top. And at the same time, every time you succeed, it doesn't mean you've reached the end of your journey. It's not the last destination. You still have to constantly keep working to be at the top, because the competition is going to be more fierce when you're at the top. So there's a saying which I personally like very much, which is abilities can take you to the top, but character is what keeps you at the top. So with this, I would like to conclude my interaction, my talking with you. So I hope all of you have got a glimpse of how I was when I was a young kid and how I grew up to what I am today. It's what that it's those growing years what has taught me or has helped me reach these heights in what I've done today. And being the flag bearer of the Indian contingent in 2024 was the icing on the cake. So I'm really happy that I've had such a long career, and I would like to wish all of you a very good luck in all your future endeavors. And back to you, sir.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. You are inspiring young life, and we got a lot more insight. And definitely, these words will bring in more inspiration for our students to reach the greater things in future, like you. And students, thank you. If you have any queries to ask to sir, kindly type in the chat message. We will take few questions because sir is also having a very busy schedule, and he's having his practice sessions. So the PTs in the school, kindly get the queries from the students and type in the chat box, and I will raise the question to sir, and sir can answer a few of those questions. Sir, is it okay, sir? Some time for you to answer our questions.
No problem, sir. No problem. Let the kids go ahead and ask.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, okay. The first question, a basic question, like they've asked which school you have studied, your school name they have asked, sir, when you are in.
So I studied in
school.
I studied in Padma Shishadri Bala Bhavan in Tinagar, and in the school we didn't have much of a space for sport, but a lot of emphasis was given on all-round development. So if we had interest in any sport or any activity as such as in cultural activity, or let's say art, music, dance, anything of that sort, they were very forthcoming and encouraging.
Thanks, sir. Okay. Students, any more queries, any more questions? Kindly ask. If one person is going to ask, means from the you can unmute and you can ask the question directly also to sir, or you can type in the chat box.
Probably the kids are pretty shy. If the teachers want to ask me any question or
coaches or teachers, you can also ask the question. Yes. One question has come, sir. Who is your favorite table tennis player?
Actually, this is very specific to table tennis. So many might not know. So I'm just explaining to you. My favorite table tennis player is Timo Boll from Germany. Of course, I look up to Ma Long from China as he's the best player table tennis has ever produced, and I was fortunate enough to play a fantastic match against him in Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021. But for me personally, I know Timo Boll, who's been the world number one from Germany, and on the court and off the court, a perfect gentleman in the making.
Fine. Okay, fine, sir. Sir, and the other questions, 2-3 questions combined, I'm going to ask this since they are related. Like, what is your daily practice and fitness session timings, and how many hours you practice every day?
So, in the field of sport, it's always been professional. So, like the way people go to office and work for 8 hours a day, we also have to work 8 hours a day. Those 8 hours are split into different parts of training in the day. So I have 2 table tennis sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So the morning session is around 9 until 11:30 or 12, and afternoon is from 3:30 to 6. And before the morning session or after the afternoon session, I have a fitness session of at least 1 hour, and I do have post the afternoon session or post my fitness, I'll have a recovery session where recovery is very, very important, because if you're not able to have proper recovery, you're not able to do, if you're not able to have the right nutrition, if you're not able to have proper sleep, you're not going to recover well into the next day's training. So you have to constantly keep following the routine to become what you want to achieve. If that routine is not set, then your performance is also as chaotic as your routine will be.
Yes, sir. Another question is like, how did you balance your studies and sports in your school days?
Like I had mentioned in the talk earlier, most of the sports persons are able to balance academics and sport together very well. That's also because of the time management that we learn through sport. So we have limited number of hours for education, for basically studying after school hours and the school time. In the school time, we spend most of the time, the whole time in school. And after that, we have to have the balance of practice, and at the same time, we have to finish our homeworks. We have to make sure that we are studying well for the tests that are coming up. So that is something which, as a sports person, you learn to balance over a period in time. Of course, in the beginning, it's very, very tough, but we make sure. I still remember when I was younger, I had to make sure that I had to pack my bag the night before, because the next morning I have to go into practice, and then immediately when I come back from practice, I have to have shower, I have to eat breakfast, and run to school before I get late. So everything has to be prepared the night before, and with good time management, we were able to balance both academics and sports. And as I also said, sport helped me have better focus and concentration in my education also. So the moment I knew that I only had 30 minutes or 1 hour to study, so that 30 minutes to 1 hour would be very, very precise into what I am studying and why am I studying those topics.
Fine, fine. Thank you, thank you. So maybe this question may be from one of the school PETs or coaches. They've asked is like, how can we identify the talent in a young age for these table tennis, or to groom them?
I think across sports, sir. I don't think table tennis alone. I think across sports, the first thing is the athletic ability. The kids need to have athleticism in their daily routine. So they should be able to run. They should be able to have basic coordination, because sport especially is all about coordination. For us, there's a lot of hand-eye coordination. There's a lot of legs, the footwork to the hands, reaction coordination. So basic thing of coordination and athleticism is very, very important in sport. So I think if the kids are able to have that, or if the kids don't have it, the first thing we need to improve as a physical teacher is making them have basic physical movements which help them to be active in their daily life.
Fine, fine. Thank you, sir. Maybe a couple of more questions, sir. I think this is from the technical side. Maybe the table tennis students are asking, like, which is your favorite service, and which is the rubber you use for your bats? They have asked that.
Yeah, okay. My favorite service is the high toss service, where you throw the ball high into the air and then you play along. And the rubbers that I play are a German brand called Andro Rasanter R40. I would like to take this other question, sir. When one question that I see here, which is quite interesting. When the opponent takes a leading score, what tactics can we use? So let's say we are playing a match, or even let's say when we go to exams, yeah, and you come to a situation where you don't know the answer. You come to a situation where you're trailing behind. So the opponent has taken lead. So what do we think at that point in time? I think the situation when you take a lead or when you're behind, when you're trailing on a lead, the most important thing is to think about what am I going to do next. I can't think about what had happened, or I can't think about what will happen. Am I going to win or am I going to lose? It's a lot about being in the present and thinking what has to be done right now. What service am I going to do? What will be my strategy? Am I going to go aggressive? Am I going to go defensive? Am I going to go? Am I going to have a balanced approach? That thought process has to be. You have to be thinking about what you're going to do right now. So for me personally, I go very aggressive because that's my game style. Then that's how I play. There are players who go defensive because that could be their game style. And so a lot has to be on your mental awareness, where you start thinking about what has to be done right now.
We will take this one final question, sir. Is asked like, how did you handle the pressure in Olympics? Or my thing will be not only in Olympics, in all important matches or in tournaments. Yeah, tips for the students to handle the pressure, sir. Maybe you can tell that.
Yes, very much, very much. Pressure is something which goes hand in hand uh, with uh, with exams, with matches, with everything. With every time you have to perform. You have to do well. So especially in the bigger tournaments, there is more pressure, like the Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, World Championships, or the Olympic Games, because they are bigger platforms where we are able to, once we are able to do well, there's we are able to scale up higher on the world rankings. We are able to achieve gold medals. So to handle that pressure over the period in time, again, first thing is, many people have asked about the 22 years now. So now probably there's not so much pressure on myself, or maybe I know how to handle the pressure now over years. So what I tell them is, the amount of pressure that I felt in my first state level tournament is the same amount of pressure that I feel right now also. And there are many times I wake up in the middle of the night, or I feel butterflies in my stomach. That's the same way every match that I play. That hasn't changed. The only thing that has changed is my ability to work with the pressure, my ability to handle that pressure into turning those expectations into something more positive as an opportunity. So the most important thing is the preparation. When we are able to prepare well, the stress, the pressure becomes lesser. So when we are going for exams, when you've prepared well, when you've done your revision well, doesn't matter how the question paper is going to come, that you're going to handle all those answers. The same way, when an opponent comes in and you're well prepared for that opponent, you know that you will be able to handle that opponent in any difficult situation. But at the same time, if you're not well prepared, then you become more nervous. The nervousness multiplies, the pressure multiplies, and the nervousness increases, which makes it more and more tougher. So all that I do to reduce the pressure is try to prepare myself in the best possible manner and make sure that mentally I am at that very moment, not thinking about what I had done before or what I'm going to do in that particular match, about if I'm going to win, if I'm going to lose, or is it a difficult opponent, is it a easy opponent? Doesn't matter. The match starts at 0-0, and the first one who wins 11 is going to win the game, and who wins 4 games is going to win the match. So all that I have to do is win point by point until the last point and make sure that I cross the line.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Maybe something more of technical side. Who's your favorite opponent, and how did you feel playing with Malong and those?
Yeah, for me personally, yeah, Malong, the Chinese gold medalist, he has 6 gold medals in total. He's been the toughest opponent, and when I played against him in 2021, the first 3 games I put up a brilliant fight, but after that I couldn't keep up with the quality that he played. But I'm really happy that I could put him under pressure in the first 3 sets and get on a level playing ground. And I wish I could get back into that moment one more time in my life.
Fine. Okay. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. And the same thing. One more question. The pressure situation and how do you handle it? Is from a badminton player. You have already answered that. So the things and one final question, sir. Any tips to be a good table tennis player? So that's one question that we have asked. And
I think across sports, sir. I think across sport or even in education, I think the most important thing for us to do well in any field is first thing is we have to put in the number of hours. So as a young kid, I could clearly see that the guys who are doing well at the national level were putting double the time than what I was putting in at when I was at the state level. I was the best in the state, but I could never become the best in the country just because they were putting in double the number of hours than I was putting into the sport. So first thing is quantity. We need to be able to put in the make ourselves present in the environment to make sure we are able to improve, we are able to grow. So first thing, most important, because people keep asking me, how do I improve my forehand? How do I be a better player? Then when I ask them how many hours do you practice in a day or how many sessions do you do, then most of the time it's too less is what I feel. If you're able to put in all that you have in the number of hours that you have, that will first help you there. And the second thing is the number of hours that you're putting in. What really matters is how much are you available mentally during those number of hours. To be thinking about what you're doing there in that particular time, and when the coaching classes are going on, instead of thinking about what was happening in school at that point in time, finish your table tennis class or your any sport class or any other class that for that matter. Be present mentally at that point in time. Be aware of what's happening in your mind. Be aware of your environment. Be aware of what's happening around you. So, which will help you to become better in whatever you're doing. So, I think if these 2 things, if you're able to constantly push yourself to do, you'll be able to reach the greatest heights anybody will be able to.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Suresh. Sir, I have a question, just final. Sir, it's a really a wonderful, inspired session, and all the players are benefited because of you. On behalf of Velamal, thank you so much. And I have a question, sir. Why table tennis? In your time, the cricket is dominated, but you chose table tennis, and you have shown your that achievement. May I know that what inspired to take the table tennis, sir?
I think cricket dominates even now, so doesn't matter that period, this period, or any other period. But I think across sports, at that point in time, it was very tough to pursue sport itself. So I was lucky enough to have a backing from my parents, but at the same time, I had a very strong liking to the sport of table tennis already by the age of 6, 7. So I really don't know why I had the liking. It's just that my exposure to the sport came at a very young age, and I wanted to do well in that sport. And I'm really happy that I'm still able to pursue my passion as my profession and doing well for the country in the process.
It's a great. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words and patiently answering all the queries from our students. We definitely want you to come in person and meet our students also in future based on your available
I'll do
time
that.
and
Sir.
your
I'll do that. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
next months, I do have some time.
Sure.
So,
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And once again, on behalf of Velamal Group and from our Velamal Sports Academy, we wish you all the very best for your future endeavors and your coaching career also. And to all the students, we want to share also is like, Sir's SK Academy is our coaching partner for our Racket Academy students also. And students also have benefited so much in the last 3 months from your coaching and from your team's coaching, sir. Thank you so much for, sir. And once again, thank you for attending this interactive session and enlightening our students, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. All the
Thank
very
you.
best to all of you. Bye bye.